I'm reading about the original Star Trek from this book that I wrote called These Are the Voyages, Star Trek, the original series, season one. Because there is a season two, and there is a season three. TV Guide did a close up listing one time of Star Trek, and they actually printed the Enterprise upside down. Isn't that funny? The picture's in this book. But I'm reading about the enemy within. That was the one where the transporter split Kirk into the good Kirk and the bad Kirk. And in this book, you can see the pictures of that moment where the bad Kirk gets on top of Yeoman Janice Rand. NBC was so worried about that. And Gene Roddenberry kept telling them, oh, it's not going to be bad. He's just going to be a little frisky. Well, if you've seen the episode, you know it goes beyond frisky. And then they got it and they watched it and they thought, oh, no, 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 no. But it was 2 days before it was supposed to be on the air and there were no other episodes available. So they put it on the air. And let's see what happened in the ratings because, on these books, we've got the Nielsen ratings for every single episode that we licensed at no small price. And look at this. So in its first half hour, it's at 29.8% audience share. Not bad. It's second in its time slot. And then that dastardly deed happens. There were mothers who were jumping up and turning channels, and they were turning them over to the dating game on ABC and the Thursday night movie on CBS. But the one that really benefited was the dating game, because that's pretty safe stuff, right? So you know what NBC did? They refused to repeat the episode. And they said, don't ever do this to us again, Gene Roddenberry. We were talking the other day and see all those little postums. I was showing you all the nights that Star Trek would win its time slot in the ratings, and yet the show gets canceled after 3 years. Why? Well, it was things like this. It was those fights between Gene Roddenberry and NBC, and he was trying to push the limit and get things in there that nobody else was showing, and that can get you canceled. And that's why Voyages of the Sea ran for 4 years, 1 year longer than Star Trek, because Captain Crane never got on top of his yeoman. And it's a good thing, because they didn't have any female yeomans on the Seaview. Well, I'm going to read some more of this fun stuff. Talk to you later.